Sometimes your plans and Allah's plans are the same. Sometimes. Sometimes you decide to go somewhere and Allah decides to let you go also. Sometimes you decide to go to a college and Allah gives you admission into that college also. You decide to graduate early and Allah lets you graduate early also. So things go according to your plan. All that means is your plan and Allah's plan was the same for that one thing. But sometimes your plan and Allah's plan are not the same. Sometimes you want to stay in that job for 10 years but you get fired after 6 months. Sometimes you apply to this school and you had the best application but you still didn't get in, and people with a worse application than you got in. It happens. Sometimes your plans and Allah's plans are not the same. These ayat are recognizing that not everything will go according to my plan. I will still have to make a plan. I will still have to put in the effort. But at the end of the day, it is Allah who will decide whether this plan will come through or not. This is وَذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ إِذَا نَسِيتَ. But then the most powerful part of this ayah that I wanted to spend extra time on, because this is really one of the most beautiful lessons in the entire Qur'an, in my opinion. If the Muslim understands this, their life becomes easy. وَقُلْ عَسَىٰ أَن يَهْدِيَنِي رَبِّي لِأَقْرَبَ مِنْ هَذَا رَشَدًا. These words are a dua. And more than a dua, they are a statement of optimism. Let's introduce it that way. You're thinking about the future just because of the use of the word asa, which is harf al-taraji in the Arabic language, a word or a fi'l al-taraji, a verb used to express hope. Allah is teaching us in this ayah that the Muslim has to have hope in the future. My iman in the Qur'an makes me optimistic about the future. I don't care what the news says. I don't care what happened yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before. I will not be among those Muslims who sit on a table and say the situation of the ummah keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Oh my God, things are only going to get much, much more terrible. And there's another tragedy coming, I guarantee you. Watch what happens. Oh, you think 9/11 was bad? Because it's the anniversary, right? You think 9/11 was bad? Oh my God, that was nothing. Watch what happens to the ummah now, and then watch what happens now. This attitude is directly against the ayah of this book. Just in the word asa. You're supposed to be full of optimism and hope that Allah will make things better for you, for the people around you, for humanity. You're supposed to have that attitude. And then he says, that what should you say about your own future? Asa an yahdiyani rabbi. Perhaps my master will guide me. He'll give me guidance. What is the most optimistic thing you can have in your future? Everybody wants a better job, or better financial situation, or a better family situation, a better health situation. We want all of these things, but you know what? The most fundamental thing you and I need, more essential than the oxygen that we're breathing, is Allah's guidance. So once you have that, everything else will work out. When you don't have that, you can have everything else and you have nothing. So in this ayah, there's an optimism that Allah will guide me. Asa an yahdiyani rabbi. That Allah will, my Rabb will guide me, my master will not forget me. I remember him when it comes to the future, he will remember me when it comes to the future. See, when I say inshallah, I've remembered him. And because I remembered him when it came to the future, he will remember me. فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. Remember me, I'll remember you. Mention me, I will mention you. Now Allah is giving you the guarantee of guidance. And again here, an important thing for Muslims to understand. Today, so many people I meet around the world have the same questions. Wallahi al-alim. It doesn't matter which part of the planet you go, people have the same confusions today. Same questions over and over again. And one of the most common questions I hear is people say, you know, there are so many different versions of Islam. So many different videos about what the Qur'an means, or what hadith means. And some people believe in this, and other people believe in that. This sheikh gives this fatwa, that one gives that fatwa. Should I follow this, or should I follow that? Somebody says this is halal, somebody says this is haram. I don't know anything anymore. It's all confusing. There's so many variations. How am I supposed to get guidance? How do I know if I'm even following the right thing? How am I supposed to know? It's too much information for me to process. And I agree, we are living in information overload. We are. We are bombarded with so many different perspectives, even within Islam. Look at the audience that is sitting in this hall. Even though we're locals from this area, most of us, the way that you've learned about Islam from the person next to you is very different. The teachers you've had, the people you've been exposed to, the lessons you've learned, they're very different from each other. So there's a lot of variation in how we are exposed to Islam, and a person gets overwhelmed and says, how am I supposed to know if I'm even following the right thing? And you know what? This ayah is the answer. I don't guarantee guidance, and YouTube doesn't guarantee guidance. And Google doesn't guarantee guidance. And people don't guarantee guidance. It is our hope that Allah Himself will give me personally guidance. Guidance will not come from anywhere else. Whether you have no information or over information, that doesn't matter. That Allah will guide you to the right course depends on how much you asked Allah, not anyone else. And once you ask Allah, you don't have to be nervous anymore, because you have absolute certainty that Allah will give you guidance. He does not turn anyone away. Getting guidance from Allah is not difficult. It is not difficult. Allah has opened the door of guidance wide open for those who seek it. We just have to be people who seek it. That's it. I mean, this ayah belongs to Surah Al-Kahf, and I can't talk enough about Surah Al-Kahf, as is evidenced in this khutbah. But these Ashabul Kahf, these people of the cave that we read about every Friday, these people have no prophet around them, no alim around them, no sheikh around them, no sahabi around them. They're by themselves, and they live in a village where everybody worships idols. And they come to a conclusion that, there can only be one God. They don't even know how to say it, and we can't worship these things. لَن نَدْعُوَ مِن دُونِهِ إِلَهًا. We can't worship other gods. And that was enough for Allah to guide them. With no knowledge, with no revelation, nothing. That was enough for Allah to guide them, and guide them so much that today, people who study the deen for years and years and years, study tafasir of these young men who knew nothing compared to the ulama that learned from them. Because they got Allah's guidance. Because Allah would give them guidance. Because it doesn't matter how dark your situation is, how hopeless it is. When you have hope in Allah, that's enough. That's just enough.
আল্লাহ লুকমান সম্পর্কে কি বলেছেন? আল্লাহ বলেন, ওয়ালাকাদ আতাইনা লুকমান আল হিকমা। আমি লুকমানকে প্রজ্ঞা দান করেছি। এই আয়াতের কিছু অংশ আমি সংক্ষেপে ব্যাখ্যা করব, আর কিছু অংশ বিস্তারিত ব্যাখ্যা করব। একটি বা দুইটি প্রসঙ্গ নিয়ে কথা বলবো। যদি সম্পূর্ণ আয়াত নিয়ে কথা বলতে যাই, তাহলে আমাদেরকে এখানে অনেক বেশি সময় থাকতে হবে। যাই হোক, আল্লাহ বলেছেন তিনি তাকে প্রজ্ঞা দান করেছেন। আরবি ভাষায় প্রজ্ঞা বলতে আসলে কি বোঝায়? আল ইলমুন নাফিউন ওয়াল আমালু বিহি, অর্থাৎ এমন উপকারী জ্ঞান যা অনুযায়ী কাজ করা হয়। তাই আপনার অনেক জ্ঞান থাকার মানে এই নয় যে আপনার অনেক প্রজ্ঞাও রয়েছে। এর মানে হলো আপনার অনেক ইলম রয়েছে, প্রজ্ঞা নয়। প্রজ্ঞা বলতে আসলে অন্য কিছু বোঝায়। প্রজ্ঞা বলতে এটাও বোঝায় না যে আপনি যখন অনেক কবিতার উদ্ধৃতি দিতে পারেন বা এমন জ্ঞানগর্ভ কথা বলেন যা শুনে লোকজন বলে উঠে বাহ। ক্লাসিক্যাল আরবির সংজ্ঞা অনুযায়ী হিকমা বলতে এটা বোঝায় না। হিকমা বা প্রজ্ঞা হলো সত্যটাকে গভীরভাবে জানা এবং সে অনুযায়ী জীবনযাপন করা। অতীতের মানুষ হিকমা বলতে এটাই বুঝতেন। ইমাম শাফি রহমতুল্লাহ আলাই, ওয়ায়ু আল্লিমুহুমুল কিতাব ওয়াল হিকমা, তিনি তাদেরকে বই এবং হিকমা শিক্ষাদান করেছেন। তিনি এই আয়াতে হিকমা বলতে রসুল সাল্লাল্লাহু আলাইহি সাল্লামের সুন্নাহকে বোঝাতেন, কারণ সুন্নাহ হলো কোরআনের জ্ঞানের বাস্তব প্রয়োগ। তাই তিনি এই কানেকশনটি সহজেই বুঝতে পারলেন, আর তাই তার মতে হিকমা হলো সুন্নাহ। যাই হোক, আল্লাহ বলেন আমি লোকমানকে প্রজ্ঞা দান করেছি। তার যে শুধু জ্ঞান ছিল তা নয়, তিনি সে অনুযায়ী তার জীবনও পরিচালনা করতেন। এরপর আল্লাহ এই মানুষটির সম্পূর্ণ জীবনের একটি সারাংশ তুলে ধরেন। অর্থাৎ একজন মানুষের উপকারী জ্ঞান থাকার মানে কি? এই সব কিছুর সারাংশ হলো আনিশকুর লিল্লাহ, আল্লাহর প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞ হও। আরবি বাক্যের ধরন অনুযায়ী বাক্যটি এমন হওয়ার কথা ছিল, ওয়ালাকাদ আতাইনা লুকমান আল হিকমা আন ইয়াশকুরা লিল্লাহ। কিন্তু এখানে আনিশকুর লিল্লাহ বলে আমর বা আদেশের দিকে তাৎক্ষণিক প্রত্যাবর্তন করা হয়েছে, আল্লাহর প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞ হও। যেন এখানে একটি আদেশ দেওয়া হয়েছে। অর্থাৎ লোকমান এমন একটি জীবন অতিবাহিত করেছেন যেখানে তিনি বারবার নিজেকেই নিজে বলেছেন আল্লাহর প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞ হও, আল্লাহর প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞ হও। আল্লাহ